My friends, the journey to true wealth, to enduring success, is often shrouded in misconception. Many chase after fleeting fortunes, believing it to be a matter of luck or timing or simply being in the right place at the right time. But what if I told you that the secret, the real secret, lies not in what you get, but in what you become? I recall a pivotal moment early in my own quest for understanding, a moment that shattered my preconceived notions. I posed a direct question to my mentor, a man of immense wisdom and proven accomplishment. How does one truly become wealthy? His answer, delivered with a quiet certainty, resonated through me like a seismic shock. He said, "Jim, if you want to be wealthy, study wealth. If you want to be successful, study success." It hit me with the force of an undeniable truth. Success leaves clues. It leaves an intricate, discernible trail, a path meticulously laid out by those who have walked it before us. Yet, in my youthful ignorance, I had never taken the time, the deliberate effort to truly follow those clues. I had been hoping for success, perhaps even praying for it, but I had not been preparing for it. From that profound day forward, I made an unwavering commitment. I became a devout student of success in all its forms. And I tell you, with every fiber of my being, that decision transformed the very fabric of my existence. You see, truly wealthy people, those who achieve not just fleeting riches, but lasting prosperity and profound fulfillment, share a remarkable set of habits. They possess an insatiable appetite for learning, for growing, for continuous improvement. They do not passively await the arrival of success. No, my friends, they proactively, relentlessly prepare for it. Today, I stand before you to share with you the very habits, the very principles that fundamentally transform my life. Principles that starkly delineate the wealthy from the struggling, the profoundly successful from the merely average. These are the foundational truths that separate those who merely wish for a better life from those who consciously construct it. I assure you, with absolute conviction, that if you embrace and diligently master these immutable principles, if you integrate them into the very core of your being, you will not have to frantically chase after success. No, my friends. Instead, success itself will come knocking insistently at your very door. The very first, the most fundamental, and arguably the most powerful principle on our list is self-reliance. It demands that you accept nothing less than full, unequivocal responsibility for your entire life's trajectory. Self-reliance, my friends, is not merely a virtue. It is one of the greatest, most empowering forces a human being can possibly cultivate. It is the bedrock, the unshakable foundation upon which true wealth is meticulously built, upon which genuine success blossoms, and upon which you can construct the kind of life that most people only dare to dream of in their fleeting moments of aspiration. Because here, my friends, is the unvarnished truth, often difficult to confront. No one is coming to rescue you. No external force, no benevolent benefactor, no governmental program, no stroke of cosmic luck is going to miraculously descend from the heavens to construct your personal fortune for you. If you genuinely desire to achieve monumental success, if your heart truly yearns for the boundless freedom of wealth, then you must, with unwavering resolve, accept full and complete responsibility for the state of your life. This means adopting a mindset, a powerful internal mantra that echoes this profound declaration. If it is to be, it's up to me. That, my friends, is the unequivocal mindset of the truly successful, the hallmark of those who shape their own destiny. I vividly recall the early days of my own journey, a period fraught with struggle where I tirelessly grappled with the daunting question of how to merely make a living. In those times, I was adept, perhaps even masterful, at crafting elaborate excuses. The government was to blame, my boss was the problem, the economy was conspiring against me. It seemed as though every external force, every person but me, was solely responsible for my unenviable situation. I was, in essence, a victim of circumstance, or so I convinced myself. Then, one pivotal day, a piece of advice delivered with disarming simplicity irrevocably altered the course of my life. Someone, a wise old soul, looked me squarely in the eye and uttered these transformative words. The very moment you accept full responsibility for precisely where you are in life, is the very moment you instantaneously gain the unlimited power to change it. And that, my friends, was it. That was the profound shift, the true turning point. I suddenly realized that for as long as I was directing blame outward, pointing fingers at others, I was in effect systematically surrendering my own inherent power. But the instant I declared with conviction, "This is on me," my current situation is a direct consequence of my choices and actions. Suddenly and miraculously, I had control. The truly wealthy and successful understand this fundamental principle at the deepest possible level of their being. They do not passively await for circumstances to align perfectly. They do not entertain the notion of expecting handouts from anyone. They certainly do not sit idly by, passively hoping that some benevolent individual will miraculously appear and fundamentally alter the course of their lives. No, my friends. They are individuals of decisive action. They embrace responsibility. They diligently cultivate invaluable skills. They consistently work harder on themselves than they do on their jobs. That, I assure you, is the profound secret to how they meticulously build their enduring fortunes. I once knew a man who had perfected the insidious habit of waiting. He was perpetually waiting for the economy to magically improve, waiting for his company to finally recognize his perceived worth, waiting for some mystical miracle to suddenly manifest and effortlessly resolve all of his accumulated problems. But here is the invaluable lesson I gleaned from observing his stagnation. Waiting does not pay well. Waiting will not settle your mounting bills. Waiting will not construct the dream home you envision. Waiting will certainly not fund your comfortable retirement. The individuals who ultimately succeed, the ones who truly break free from the chains of mediocrity, are those who with resolute determination declare, "No more waiting, I seize control now." Self-reliance, at its core, means actively becoming the kind of individual who possesses the inherent capability to create wealth rather than merely wishing for its elusive presence. It signifies the diligent development of skills that will render you undeniably valuable in the competitive marketplace. It embodies the profound understanding that your income, your financial compensation, is directly and inextricably linked to the measurable value you consistently bring to the world. You are not compensated solely for the passage of time. No, my friends, you are justly compensated for the tangible value you consistently deliver to the marketplace. So, the critical, penetrating question I pose to you is this: how valuable are you truly? If your aspiration is to earn more, then your imperative is to become more. If your desire is to achieve more, then your obligation is to develop more skills. One of the most compelling illustrations of unwavering self-reliance can be found in the inspiring narrative of an ambitious young man who harbored a burning desire to achieve genuine financial independence. He possessed very little in terms of starting capital, but he grasped one fundamental truth with unwavering clarity. He absolutely had to become valuable. Therefore, he dedicated himself with an almost fanatical zeal to the pursuit of knowledge. He voraciously consumed books, he diligently sought out wise and experienced mentors, and he made it his inviolable practice to work harder on himself than he ever did on his job. He did not squander precious energy bemoaning his challenging circumstances. Instead, he actively, relentlessly, and intelligently changed them. And eventually, through sheer force of will and relentless self-improvement, he cultivated such immense value in the marketplace that financial concerns ceased to be an issue. People were not merely willing, but eager to compensate him handsomely because he had meticulously developed skills that were in high demand, skills that solved real problems for others. It is all too easy, my friends, to fall into the seductive trap of believing that success is merely a product of blind luck or impeccable timing or privileged connections. But the profound truth, the liberating reality, is that it is primarily about personal growth. The truly successful do not idly wish that circumstances were easier. Instead, they ardently wish that they themselves were better. They do not waste precious breath complaining about the inherent flaws of the system. Instead, they proactively and intelligently discover innovative ways to make the existing system work to their advantage. They do not wallow in self-pity over their upbringing or their past mistakes. No, my friends, they diligently learn from them and resolutely move forward. I once overheard a young man utter a profoundly limiting belief. He lamented, "I wasn't born into money, so I'll never be rich." That kind of thinking, my friends, is the very enemy of self-reliance. Where you begin your journey does not in any way definitively determine where you are destined to end up. Success is not about what you are passively given. It is about what you actively do with what you already possess. Some of the wealthiest and most influential individuals in the world started their lives with absolutely nothing. They did not passively wait for someone else to give them a break. No, they possessed the entrepreneurial spirit and the unwavering self-reliance to create their own opportunities. So I pose this critical question to each of you directly, unflinchingly. Are you genuinely taking full, unequivocal responsibility for the entirety of your life? Are you even subconsciously making excuses, or are you actively and demonstrably making progress? Are you passively waiting for the economy to magically improve, or are you diligently improving yourself so that you possess the inherent capacity to thrive and prosper in any economic climate? Regardless of its challenges, the fundamental difference between those who ultimately succeed and those who do not is remarkably simple. Successful people do not wait, they act. When you embrace and embody the principle of self-reliance, my friends, everything in your life begins to change. You no longer exist at the capricious mercy of external circumstances. You no longer depend precariously on the benevolence of others for your success. You, and you alone, seize control. And that, my friends, is precisely where true, lasting wealth begins to manifest. My friends, there exists a principle, a profound truth, that unequivocally separates the truly successful from the vast majority of the population. It is, in essence, one of the greatest, most overlooked secrets to the acquisition of enduring wealth. This principle is deceptively simple, yet monumentally powerful. Always, without exception, do more than you are paid for. Most people, a staggering majority, operate under a fundamentally flawed paradigm. They work solely for the immediate compensation they receive in the present moment. And that, my friends, is precisely why they remain perpetually stuck precisely where they are. They perform just enough to avoid the consequence of being dismissed, and in turn their employer compensates them just enough to prevent them from seeking opportunities elsewhere. It is, in essence, a perpetual cycle of soul-crushing mediocrity. But the individuals who consistently rise above the common herd, the ones who achieve extraordinary and seemingly impossible levels of success, operate from a profoundly different understanding. They intuitively grasp that going the extra mile is not merely about superficially impressing a superior. No, my friends, it is about the deliberate and rigorous act of developing the kind of indomitable character and the kind of unshakable work ethic that by its very nature generates and attracts wealth. I distinctly remember a period in my early career where I found myself working for a company and my modest paycheck was barely sufficient to cover my essential bills. I adhered to the minimum requirements. I arrived punctually, diligently completed my assigned tasks, and then promptly returned home. And what was the predictable outcome, my friends? I remained perpetually, frustratingly broke. It was a disheartening cycle. But then, a pivotal lesson, a profound insight, irrevocably altered my entire perspective. I learned this simple yet powerful truth. If you genuinely desire to be compensated more abundantly, you must first and foremost become more valuable. And so I began to apply this principle with unwavering dedication. I started consistently staying late at the office. I actively sought out opportunities to learn extra marketable skills, and I proactively volunteered to take on projects that no one else was willing to embrace. No one explicitly instructed me to undertake these additional efforts. No one was offering me extra compensation for these self-imposed tasks, but I did it anyway. And then, my friends, something truly extraordinary began to unfold. Opportunities seemingly from out of nowhere began to materialize. I received promotions that propelled me forward. I was granted raises that reflected my growing value. And eventually, through this relentless process of self-improvement, I cultivated the kind of indispensable skills that ultimately empowered me to confidently step out on my own and meticulously build my own enduring wealth. That, my friends, is the unequivocal lesson: money follows value. If you diligently and consistently increase your inherent value to the marketplace, with almost magnetic certainty, will unfailingly reward you. Most people operating from a mindset of scarcity and immediate gratification will lament, "If only they paid me more, I would be motivated to work harder." But that, my friends, is a fundamentally backward thinking. You do not magically receive the promotion first and then decide to apply greater effort. No. You, with unwavering discipline, work harder first. You consistently add more value first, and then the well-deserved promotion, the increased compensation, the expanded opportunities inevitably manifest. The truly wealthy, the profoundly successful, grasp this profound distinction. They do not merely work for the immediate compensation they receive today. No, my friends. They work tirelessly, diligently, and with profound intention for what they are consistently becoming. They relentlessly push themselves far beyond the bare minimum of what is required, because they possess the innate understanding that extraordinary effort, consistently applied, inevitably leads to extraordinary and lasting rewards. Consider the most successful individuals in any given field. The top-tier athletes do not confine their practice to the mere presence of their coach. They train longer, harder, and with an intensity that transcends mere obligation. The most effective salespeople do not merely make the requisite number of calls. They consistently go above and beyond, seeking every opportunity to add value and serve their clients. The wealthiest and most impactful entrepreneurs do not merely deliver what is expected of them. No, they consistently exceed expectations. They innovate relentlessly. They create profound value. That, my friends, is precisely why they consistently win. I once encountered a determined young man who expressed a fervent desire to advance rapidly in his chosen profession. He sought my counsel, and I offered him a simple yet potent piece of advice: start doing more than you are currently paid for. Arrive at work earlier, consistently stay later. Proactively take on extra responsibilities that others shy away from. A few short months later, he returned to me, his face etched with frustration. "I've been diligently doing all of that," he lamented, "but they still haven't given me a raise." I looked him squarely in the eye and delivered a crucial truth: keep going. My friend, the results are not always instantaneous, but I assure you they are inevitable. He, to his credit, persevered with unwavering dedication. And not long thereafter, an astute executive in an entirely different department, a man with a keen eye for genuine talent and an exceptional work ethic, noticed his consistent efforts. This executive promptly offered him a coveted position with a compensation package that represented double his current pay. That, my friends, is precisely how this principle operates. When you consistently perform at an extraordinary level, when you routinely deliver value that far exceeds expectations, the world, in its own time and in its own way, will inevitably take notice. Perhaps not immediately, but over time, the well-deserved rewards will undeniably manifest. But here, my friends, is the absolute key, the most crucial nuance. You must undertake these efforts primarily for yourself, not merely for the promise of external rewards. You must cultivate, within the very core of your being, the profound habit of excellence, because that, fundamentally, is who you are becoming. An individual of extraordinary quality and unwavering commitment, not simply because of the transactional benefits you might temporarily receive. The unwavering habit of consistently doing more, of perpetually being more, of constantly contributing more, that, I assure you, is precisely what meticulously builds the indomitable mindset of lasting success. And once you have deeply ingrained that mindset, that powerful internal operating system, the acquisition of wealth becomes a natural, almost inevitable byproduct, a reflection of the extraordinary value you embody. My friends, there is another critical determinant of your ultimate success, a factor that is every bit as important, if not more so, than the sheer magnitude of your diligent efforts. It is a truth that is often overlooked, yet its impact is nothing short of profound. This truth is unequivocally who you choose to spend your most valuable time with. If your unwavering aspiration is to achieve true success, to live a life of meaning and accomplishment, then you must with courage and conviction learn to walk away from the 97%. What do I mean by the 97%? This, my friends, is the group that consistently manufactures excuses for their stagnation. This is the group that willingly settles for mediocrity, embracing the comfortable confines of average. This is the group that never manages to transcend the limitations of their circumstances, perpetually blaming external factors for their lack of progress. And I must issue a solemn warning. If you allow yourself to remain in their company for too long, if you consistently expose yourself to their pervasive negativity, their limiting beliefs, and their ingrained patterns of complacency, their debilitating mindset will, with almost magnetic certainty, gradually but irrevocably become your own. I learned this invaluable lesson through the hard crucible of personal experience. In my nascent stages of growth, I too found myself ensnared in the company of individuals who harbored no discernible ambition. They were masters of lamentation. They perpetually complained about their jobs. They railed against the perceived injustices of the economy. They bemoaned the inherent unfairness of life itself. And without even consciously realizing the insidious shift, I began to adopt the very same patterns of thought, the very same limiting beliefs that permeated their discussions. I was in essence becoming a reflection of my environment. But then I made a decisive and life-altering change. I began to actively and deliberately seek out the company of individuals who were demonstrably achieving more than me. People who radiated success, who possessed an unshakable ambition, who engaged in profound discussions about innovative ideas instead of merely dwelling on insurmountable problems. And I tell you, with absolute conviction, that singular shift in my associations changed everything. You have undoubtedly encountered the profound wisdom embedded in the adage, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is not a mere platitude, my friends. It is a fundamental truth of human psychology and achievement. If your constant companions are individuals who are perpetually complaining, then I ask you with genuine concern, what do you imagine you will inevitably become? A complainer, of course. If you surround yourself with those who consistently shirk responsibility and readily manufacture excuses, you too will begin to adopt their patterns of evasion. But conversely, if you intentionally and consistently surround yourself with genuine winners, individuals who embody resilience, who exude optimism, who possess an unyielding drive, then their constructive habits, their empowering mindsets, their insatiable drive will, with almost palpable force, undoubtedly rub off on you. It is the law of proximity, the law of influence, in action. I knew a man who for years struggled mightily with chronic financial difficulties, barely managing to make ends meet. His situation seemed perpetually bleak. Then, one fortuitous day, he was presented with a remarkable opportunity to work in close proximity with a group of highly successful, driven individuals. He seized the chance with both hands. He began to consistently spend time in their presence, not merely observing, but actively listening to the profound insights embedded in their conversations, meticulously absorbing their patterns of thought, and diligently watching how they strategically operated within their respective fields. And within a remarkably short span of just a few years, his entire financial life was unequivocally transformed. This profound turnaround did not occur because he suddenly stumbled upon some elusive stroke of luck. No, my friends, it happened precisely because he consciously and strategically changed his influences. This, my friends, is often one of the hardest lessons to internalize and to act upon, because it sometimes necessitates the painful act of letting go of long-standing friendships, of deliberately distancing yourself from deeply ingrained negative influences, and of courageously stepping into an entirely new and unfamiliar environment. But here is the profound truth that demands your unwavering attention. You simply cannot afford to remain perpetually ensnared within the wrong crowd. If the individuals you call friends are not actively pushing you to become a better version of yourself, to strive harder for your goals, to dream bolder and more expansive dreams, then I say to you, with unwavering conviction, you need new friends. Success, my friends, is not merely about what you do. It is fundamentally about who you become. And who you become The very essence of your evolving character and capabilities is undeniably and profoundly shaped by the caliber of individuals with whom you choose to spend your most precious time, and by the consistent, unwavering effort you pour into your own development. If you make the conscious and resolute decision today to always, without exception, do more than you are paid for, and to diligently surround yourself with the right uplifting people, then I declare to you, with absolute certainty, there is no discernible limit to how far you can possibly ascend. My friends, there is a profound reason why certain individuals are able to meticulously build wealth that endures for generations, wealth that withstands the tests of time and market volatility, while others, equally talented, seem to squander it almost as quickly as it is acquired. It is not merely about the sheer volume of money they accumulate. No, my friends, it is unequivocally about the very foundation upon which they choose to build that wealth. Wealth that is meticulously built upon enduring principles, principles of integrity, honesty, and genuine value creation. That kind of wealth lasts. It stands tall and unyielding through the inevitable economic downturns, through unforeseen challenges, through the relentless march of time itself. But wealth, my friends, that is hastily constructed upon the shaky ground of shortcuts, upon the insidious whispers of dishonesty, or upon the fleeting whim of pure luck, that kind of wealth, I assure you, is precisely like a precarious house of cards. One unexpected gust of wind, one minor tremor in the market, and it all comes crashing down in a heap of ruin. Character, my friends, is the unshakable foundation. Success that is not firmly rooted in integrity can never truly last. You may, for a fleeting period, manage to deceive a few people. You may, for a temporary gain, choose to cut corners and achieve a momentary advantage. But inevitably, irrevocably, the truth will catch up. That, my friends, is the law of the universe. That is precisely why the truly successful, the genuinely wealthy, do not merely focus their energies on the acquisition of more money. No, they focus with unwavering intent on becoming the kind of person who inherently deserves success, the kind of individual whose very being attracts and sustains abundance. They possess the profound understanding that true wealth is not merely about possessing more material things. It is at its core about who you relentlessly become in the transformative process of acquiring it. I once knew a man who, through sheer cunning and relentless ambition, built a thriving business, seemingly overnight. He was accumulating more money than he had ever dared to dream of. But, and this is crucial, he consistently took shortcuts. He deliberately skirted ethical boundaries. He engaged in deals that were not entirely transparent or honest. And for a while, it appeared to be working. He resided in a sprawling mansion, drove ostentatious luxury automobiles, and seemed to possess every conceivable material comfort money could procure. But then, almost imperceptibly at first, the cracks began to show. Customers, discerning and increasingly aware, began to lose their trust. Business partners, disillusioned by his lack of ethics, quietly severed their ties, and eventually, inevitably, the entire edifice of his business collapsed into ruin. He had, in essence, constructed his success upon a foundation of shifting sand, and when the inevitable storm descended, it mercilessly washed everything away. Contrast that, if you will, with another man I knew, operating within the very same industry, presented with the very same initial opportunities. But this man, my friends, unequivocally refused to compromise his deeply held principles. He treated every single customer as if they were his most important client, extending to them unwavering respect and exceptional service. He meticulously honored every single one of his commitments, even when doing so proved inconvenient or financially challenging. He consistently chose to do what was unequivocally right, not merely what was easy or expedient. And while his initial success may not have been as flashy or as immediate, over the long arc of time, he meticulously built something utterly unshakable. His business grew steadily year after year organically through the power of trust and reputation. And decades later, I tell you, it is still thriving, a testament to the enduring power of integrity. That, my friends, is the transformative power of integrity. It meticulously creates success that unequivocally lasts. People sometimes labor under the misconception that integrity is reserved for grand, momentous moral decisions. But I tell you, it begins with the seemingly small, almost imperceptible daily choices. Do you consistently keep your word, even when no one else is observing your actions? Do you consistently deliver your absolute best work, even when it would be effortlessly easy to cut corners and simply get by? Do you consistently treat every individual with unwavering honesty and fairness, even when the immediate situation doesn't explicitly demand it? These seemingly minor, yet profoundly significant daily decisions are the precise crucible in which your character is forged. And your character, my friends, is the ultimate determinant of your enduring destiny. My friends, there exists yet another profound principle that unequivocally separates those who diligently build lasting wealth from those who perpetually struggle to merely make ends meet. This principle is long-term thinking. The truly wealthy do not engage in the fleeting, often self-defeating game of the short-term win. No, my friends, they are master players of the infinite game. They do not confine their vision to the immediate present, this day, this week, or even this single year. Their minds operate on a far grander scale. They think in terms of decades, of lifetimes, of the enduring legacy they will leave for future generations. Most people, sadly, are perpetually fixated on immediate gratification. They crave instant results. They demand success now. And that, my friends, is precisely why they so readily fall into insidious traps, the allure of get-rich-quick schemes, the impulsive chasing of fleeting trends, the rash decision-making based purely on what feels momentarily good rather than what is genuinely wise and strategically sound in the long run. But allow me to impart this crucial truth. True wealth is not built in a single day or even a single year. It is meticulously constructed over the vast expanse of time through the unwavering application of consistent effort, unyielding discipline, and profound patience. I distinctly recall an early juncture in my career where I was presented with what appeared to be a golden opportunity to make a quick and effortless fortune. A deal came my way, promising extraordinarily fast returns with virtually no discernible effort, an almost irresistible easy payout, and I must admit the temptation was palpable. But something, a quiet whisper of intuition, felt inherently amiss. I made the difficult, yet ultimately wise, decision to decline the offer. And sure enough, just a few short months later, the entire elaborate scheme spectacularly collapsed, and the individuals who had impulsively jumped in, chasing the lure of instant riches, lost absolutely everything. That pivotal experience, my friends, instilled within me an invaluable lesson. If it sounds too good to be true, it almost certainly is. True, lasting success takes time, unwavering commitment, and deliberate cultivation. The most astute investors do not blindly pour their capital into ventures that promise the biggest returns within a single month. No. They strategically invest in assets that possess the inherent capacity to grow and appreciate over many years, even decades. The most impactful entrepreneurs do not embark on their ventures with the sole aim of securing a quick, ephemeral profit. No, they meticulously build something substantial, something enduring, something that is designed to last and create profound value over the long haul. The most successful professionals do not merely chase the highest paycheck available today. No, they strategically invest in the continuous development of skills that will render them invaluable and highly compensated for an entire lifetime. Observe, if you will, how the truly wealthy consistently operate. They do not thoughtlessly squander every penny they earn. Instead, they diligently reinvest a significant portion of their profits back into their endeavors, back into their growth. They do not succumb to impulsive, short-sighted decisions driven by immediate gratification. No, they think strategically, with a broad and far-reaching vision. They do not allow themselves to become disheartened or derailed when circumstances do not unfold precisely as they wish in the short term, because they possess a profound and unwavering understanding that they are engaged in a much, much grander game, the infinite game of lasting impact and enduring prosperity. Consider the fundamental difference between a sprinter and a marathon runner. The sprinter, with an initial burst of explosive energy, expends virtually all of their reserves in the first few exhilarating seconds of the race, and when the short burst is over, they are utterly depleted, their race finished. The marathon runner, on the other hand, understands the profound wisdom of pacing themselves. They plan meticulously for the long haul. They intuitively know that true success in their endeavor is not merely about how explosively fast you commence the race. It is unequivocally about whether you possess the profound endurance, the unshakable resilience, and the sheer fortitude to finish the race, not just completed, but to finish it strong, to finish it with conviction. I once encountered a man who, with a glint of urgency in his eye, confided in me that his sole financial objective was to retire rich within a mere 5 years. He openly admitted his desire for a shortcut, his fervent wish to bypass the arduous journey and leap onto the fast track to wealth. I then posed a counter question, a thought-provoking inquiry that challenged his immediate gratification mindset. What if, instead of fixating solely on a 5-year horizon, you consciously and diligently focused on meticulously building enduring wealth over the next 20 years? What if, instead of relentlessly striving to get rich quick, your unwavering objective was to get rich for sure with absolute certainty? He, as you might imagine, did not initially appreciate that profound shift in perspective. He desired immediate gratification. He wanted it now. But the unvarnished truth, my friends, is that the individuals who ultimately achieve the most profound and lasting success are precisely those who possess the profound willingness to delay gratification, to consciously and diligently put in the unwavering work today, knowing with absolute certainty that it is laying the robust groundwork for a demonstrably better, more prosperous tomorrow. If you plant a tree today, you will not, of course, immediately enjoy its cooling shade tomorrow. But in 10 years, in 20 years, that initially small sapling will have grown into something undeniably strong, something that provides welcome shelter, something that endures for generations. Wealth, my friends, operates under this very same immutable principle. It is not solely about what you can instantaneously acquire today. It is fundamentally about what you are meticulously building for the future. So I ask you this piercing question, directly, unflinchingly. Are you primarily thinking short-term, driven by immediate urges and transient gains, or are you operating with a vast, expansive long-term perspective? Are you solely focused on quick, ephemeral wins, or are you, with unwavering resolve, committed to cultivating enduring, lasting success? Because I tell you with absolute conviction, those who consistently play the infinite game, those who build upon the solid bedrock of integrity, who prioritize character above all else, who meticulously adhere to unchanging principles, and who possess the profound foresight of long-term thinking, they are the ones who ultimately win, not merely for a fleeting moment, but for an entire lifetime, and indeed for generations to come. My friends, there is a pervasive misunderstanding, a common misconception regarding the true nature of success. Some individuals harbor the belief that it is exclusively reserved for the fortunate few, for those who are inherently lucky, or endowed with extraordinary talent, or blessed with well-connected relationships. But I stand before you today to declare a liberating truth. Success is not a guarded secret. It is in essence a discoverable system. And at the very heart, at the undeniable core of that meticulously engineered system lies one simple yet profoundly powerful truth. Success unequivocally demands massive action. Contrast a person doing minimal effort with someone giving their all. Show a visual metaphor of a small ripple versus a powerful wave. Not just a mere modicum of effort, not just the bare minimum of showing up, not just passively doing what is merely expected. No, my friends. Success, the kind that transforms dreams into tangible realities, demands relentless, unwavering, and often uncomfortable work. The kind of monumental effort that by its very nature fundamentally separates the extraordinary from the perpetually ordinary. Most people, sadly, consistently underestimate the sheer magnitude of what it truly takes to achieve exceptional results. They establish a goal, they engage in a minimal amount of effort towards it for a brief period, and then they wonder with a sense of bewilderment why nothing significant appears to be materializing. But I tell you with absolute conviction, success does not gravitate towards those who merely dabble. It gravitates with an almost magnetic force towards those who fully commit, who relentlessly push beyond their perceived limits, who unequivocally refuse to settle for anything less than their highest aspirations. It is about cultivating a work ethic so profoundly strong, so incredibly unwavering, that you become, quite simply, impossible to ignore. I once encountered a young man who confided in me his fervent desire to build substantial wealth. He articulated grand dreams, visions of financial freedom, a truly exceptional lifestyle, and unwavering security for his beloved family. I then posed a direct question to him: what concrete actions are you undertaking right now to make these noble aspirations a tangible reality? He responded, "Well, I put in a good effort every day." But as I gently probed deeper, seeking greater clarity, his good effort revealed itself to be a casual couple of hours here and there, showing up only when he felt a surge of motivation, applying himself only when it was convenient or comfortable. I then had to deliver the hard yet necessary truth: success, my friend, is rarely convenient. It does not operate on your preferred schedule. If your aspiration is to achieve extraordinary results, then you must, without exception, pour in extraordinary effort. Observe, if you will, the most successful individuals in any chosen field, whether it be the cutthroat world of business, the demanding arena of professional sports, or the nuanced realm of the arts. They all share one undeniable commonality: they work relentlessly. Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest basketball player of all time, did not merely rely on his prodigious innate talent. He notoriously practiced longer, harder, and with a far greater intensity than any of his peers. Steve Jobs, a visionary who reshaped industries, did not merely possess brilliant ideas. He obsessed over every minute detail, working day and night with an almost fanatical dedication to bring his revolutionary visions to vibrant life. The individuals who ultimately ascend to the pinnacle of their chosen fields are precisely those who courageously push themselves beyond what is merely required, beyond what is merely expected, and indeed, far beyond what is comfortable or convenient. And here, my friends, is a crucial nuance, an important distinction to deeply internalize. Massive action does not solely mean working hard. It also unequivocally means working smart. Some individuals, despite their best intentions, expend enormous effort, but it is often the wrong kind of effort. They remain perpetually busy, but they fail to consistently move forward. They mistakenly confuse frantic activity with genuine progress. But true, impactful effort is always intentional, it is laser-focused, and it is relentlessly results-driven. It means deliberately engaging in the specific activities that truly matter, the actions that possess the inherent capacity to create genuine, unstoppable momentum. My friends, now let us delve into a profound truth that dictates not just your initial success, but the very longevity and expansive impact of your achievements. It is a principle that separates those who merely acquire wealth from those who truly build a lasting legacy. This truth is, success is about duplication. It's not just about doing, it's about teaching. Think about it for a moment. If success were solely dependent on what one solitary individual could accomplish, then its scope, its reach, would be inherently limited, bound by the constraints of a single person's time and energy. But my friends, when you embrace the profound power of teaching, when you actively mentor others, when you diligently duplicate the knowledge and the wisdom you have painstakingly acquired into the minds and capabilities of other individuals, something truly magical happens. Your impact multiplies exponentially. Your knowledge, instead of being confined, begins to grow and expand as it is shared. Your influence, rather than being restricted, spreads and resonates far beyond your immediate reach. And in the intricate tapestry of business and leadership, this, my friends, is the unequivocal key to achieving not just transient financial gain, but enduring profound wealth. Consider the truly great companies, the visionary leaders, the most impactful entrepreneurs throughout history. They do not merely work in isolation. No, they understand the immense power of collective effort. They meticulously build cohesive teams. They meticulously create robust systems that empower others to operate effectively. They tirelessly train and empower others to take the invaluable lessons they have learned and not only carry them forward, but also to build upon them, to innovate, and to expand their reach. That, my friends, is precisely why the most genuinely successful individuals consistently invest their time, their energy, and their resources into mentorship, into leadership development, and into the profound act of helping others rise to their full potential. Because when you diligently apply yourself to helping others grow, you inevitably grow yourself. When you wholeheartedly assist others in achieving their success, you, by the very nature of universal law, are simultaneously propelling yourself towards even greater heights. There is a profound reason why truly wealthy individuals do not merely accumulate vast sums of money for their own personal gain. No, my friends, they possess an inherent understanding of a deeper calling. They diligently share their wisdom. They meticulously write transformative books. They actively mentor aspiring minds. They establish and nurture organizations that are designed to outlast their own lifetimes. That, my friends, is how true, enduring wealth is meticulously built, not merely in the cold currency of dollars and cents, but in the invaluable currency of knowledge shared, in the profound strength of relationships forged, and in the timeless, indelible mark of a lasting legacy. So, my friends, here is the ultimate challenge I present to each of you. A challenge that will define the very scope of your future. Do not merely work hard. Instead, commit to working relentlessly. And do not merely strive to achieve great things for yourself. Instead, make it your life's purpose to duplicate your wisdom, to empower others to rise, to create a ripple effect of success that extends far beyond your individual efforts. Because when you embrace and embody the power of massive action, and when you simultaneously commit to diligently passing on the invaluable lessons you have learned to those who follow, success ceases to be merely something you possess. No, my friends, it becomes something far grander. It becomes something you actively build, something you continuously expand, something that by its very nature lasts. It becomes a testament to your character, your vision, and your unwavering commitment to a life of true significance. My friends, we have journeyed together through the very heart of what it means to build not just wealth, but a truly rich and meaningful life. We've uncovered the 7 unseen foundations of wealth, principles passed down through generations of successful individuals, refined by the wisdom of Jim Rohn, and illuminated by the profound insights of Napoleon Hill. We've established that self-reliance is your bedrock, that you are the architect of your destiny. We've explored the power of doing more than you're paid for, not for superficial gain, but for the profound development of your character and value. We've recognized the immense influence of your inner circle and why walking away from the 97% is not just beneficial but essential for your growth. We've understood that integrity is the unshakable foundation, building wealth on principles that last. We've embraced long-term thinking, understanding that true prosperity is a marathon, not a sprint. And we've learned that massive action is the engine that propels you forward, that extraordinary effort leads to extraordinary results. Finally, we've illuminated the power of duplication, understanding that true success extends beyond accumulation to teaching and building a lasting legacy. Now, the question is not whether these principles work. They have stood the test of time, proving their efficacy for countless individuals across generations. The real question, my friends, is this: are you willing to apply them? Are you ready to stop merely wishing for a better life and begin building it with unwavering purpose and relentless action? The journey will demand discipline. It will require patience. It will challenge you to step outside your comfort zone. But I assure you, the rewards, a life of purpose, freedom, and profound fulfillment are beyond measure. This message is a call to action, a clarion call to every soul who dares to dream bigger, to live bolder, and to become the absolute best version of themselves. Your destiny, my friends, is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. It is not something to be waited for. It is something to be achieved. Take these principles, internalize them, and begin applying them in your life starting today. The path to your extraordinary 2025, to your lasting wealth, to your profound fulfillment, begins with your very next conscious decision. If you found value in this message, if these principles ignited a spark within you, then I urge you to take action right now. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this truth. And most importantly, Subscribe to this channel to join a community of individuals committed to unwavering self-improvement and the relentless pursuit of greatness. I am here to guide you on this journey. Let's build something extraordinary together. Your destiny awaits. Go forth and claim it.